Welcome back to another episode of Amplify Democracy. I am your host, Cleopatra Charles, and today we're diving into a story that crosses continents, cultures, and creative traditions. A story about identity, resistance, and the power of visual storytelling. Our guest today was born and raised in Niterói, Rio de Janeiro, and now calls Newark, New Jersey home. His artistic journey began in theater at age 11, where imagination, embodiment, and performance first gave him a space to express himself. His art is not just about aesthetics, it is about memory, identity, migration, and the constant work of redefining oneself as an Afro-Latino, first-generation immigrant in the United States. You've said before that your earliest memories of creating began in your childhood, especially through theater. Can you talk about what it felt to step onto a stage at 11 years old? And how those early experiences shaped your relationship with art and expression.
At 11 years old, I took my first theater class. I convinced my dad it would take me to this local agency that offered theater classes. And then our first encounter was really magical. It could just make me see a whole world that I was seeing on TV, a way for me to reimagine my reality that was really rich for not only my childhood, but also for me to understand what art was.
Do you see echoes of that theatrical foundation from when you were 11 in your visual art today?
When I think about my work today, I do think about performance first and then seeing how the body reacts on the outside space, how those bodies are seen. It does come from a space of investigating. Early stages of theater definitely informed the work that I make today.
So after high school, you shifted your focus full-time to the visual arts, especially photography. What drew you into photography specifically? What did the camera allow you to see or say that other mediums did not?
I was 18. I got this full scholarship to study photography. It's one of the best photography schools in Rio de Janeiro. Photography makes you analyze what you're seeing and really dive deep into compositions that we see every day.
Your work is deeply grounded in your lived experience, not just as a Brazilian artist, but as an Afro-Latino, as a first-generation immigrant navigating life in the US. When did you first realize that your art was going to be a space where you could process identity and migration?
So I came to the United States with no expectations, to be honest. I didn't really want to come here so bad as most people want to. I was not seen the same way as I was back home in Brazil. When I used to work as a customer service for a television company, I used to hear every day that my accent was not reliable and I should go back home because I was not in the United States, but I was like, wait, is New Jersey the United States or not? My existence as an immigrant in this country is very political. So that's why I did feel the urge of making some work that spoke to that. And I do think that it just unfolded slowly. Just as every artist, you do understand different stages of your work.
What does decolonial existence mean to you in the context of your own life and your art?
It's mostly about not following patterns or behaviors that we grow up believing that are the right ones, like all the societal impositions that are rooted in Western behaviors. My work right now is a lot about hostile architecture in major cities that are meant to keep people away from certain spaces. So I do compare that to my existence as a first generation immigrant in the United States, that it's already a form of colonial existence. To just think and also question what the outside is showing you and how are you responding to the physical space? How are we seeing the outside?
Many immigrants experience the tension between memory and reinvention, the push and pull of holding onto culture while adapting to a new environment. Are there certain themes or materials that embody that experience?
Honestly, that's a constant thing that I think about. I've been in US for only 4 years. There's two sides of culture, thinking about leaving the culture that you grew up with, not leaving it behind, but somehow you're inserted in a new culture environment. It's impossible to have your culture all the time when you're started in a new one. How do you exist in a space that tries to erase your culture, but you still try to stay rooted to your own by little habits, just by drinking coffee every day, which is something that Brazilians really do and something that I grew up doing. Well, my whole family does that. So I think these little attachments to your culture are the things that make me still understand that I'm Brazilian no matter where I'm going to live. It's hard sometimes, definitely, when you're away. I think that connecting to your people, just talking to them, being tapped into the culture, knowing what is happening there. I think it's mostly about just me trying to understand these ways of existing here too.
You've talked about how your work engages with past traumas. What does that process look for you? And how does your art help you hold and heal those experiences?
Every artist does come across past experiences or just somehow rooted consciously or unconsciously. It's just gonna come across somehow. My profession is how I perceive the world. It's not something that I try to think of when I'm making work. I think it's a response in a way to things that I've experienced and a way for me to investigate, but not therapy.
Do you find that certain pieces or mediums help you process emotion differently?
I don't really approach it that way. I think it's more of an organic process. It's also unconscious based on what I'm seeing at the moment, what I'm being inspired by, how I can approach my art in different ways. I think it's really important for contemporary artists to investigate other forms of work.
So let's talk about new work, because new work shapes artists in very specific and beautiful ways. How has being part of the Newark community influenced your work, your identity, or your understanding of belonging?
Newark is a very special place when it comes to immigration in general. We do feel welcome because of the diversity. Newark makes me feel at home the most.
Do you see connections between Newark and Niterói?
There's a lot of social disparities. Niterói, it's a big city, right? It's in the state of Rio de Janeiro, and I'm from a favela in Niterói. Favelas are basically low-income housing. There's no governmental backup or any support. So Newark has a history of the political scene with all the riots.
Newark, New Jersey became a city of race riots, violence, looting, and hate. For 5 days, it was a battleground and a looter's paradise. Colored citizens clashed with police, National Guardsmen, and state troopers.
Everything that have happened in the past, all the racial disparities, and everything that the city still faces. My favela in Niterói would be the same. The kindness of people come from the spaces of having to get together, having to create a community otherwise. There is that commonality.
So, this podcast is really about the many forms democracy can take. And I think your work offers a visual language for belonging, memory, and liberation. Do you see your art as a civic act?
The way that it's perceived, for sure, it could be that. And my work is about my existence pretty much at the moment. And that would just naturally be who I am in the society of the United States.
So, it's not something that you set out to do, but it just because of who you are and your lived experiences, it can be perceived that way.
When people look at my work, from what I've heard, people do come to certain realizations that they hadn't think about before, or new ways of seeing the contemporary space, seeing what our society is going through. the marginalized, things that are outside.
Chaos erupted when ICE agents worked to detain Mayor Baraka.
Protesters outside of Delaney Hall faced off with federal agents Friday night.
Little details that people would sometimes notice in my work.
So you're graduating with your BFA from Rutgers University in May, and that's such an exciting milestone. What are your hopes for the next chapter?
I'm seeing what the possibilities are when it comes to graduate school, residencies. I do want to keep pursuing my career as an artist. That's really important for me while I am in this country. I do want to still be engaged with gallery spaces, museum spaces, just institutions. Museums, galleries, they are an amazing resource for just society to investigate the social landscape. I do see myself also creating some sort of social work within my home country. When you go back and then you take all the knowledge that you somehow went to another country to learn, I do believe that placing that knowledge into the place that you came from, it's a really beautiful way to just keep performing your role in this world.
And where can people follow you, stay connected, and support what you're building?
My website is leodepaula.com and my Instagram is Leo, LEOSRRA.
Leo De Palma, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us today, from Niteroi to Newark, from theater to photography to mixed media, from childhood imagination to decolonial resistance. Your work is such a powerful reminder that art doesn't just reflect who we are. It helps us rebuild who we can become. For our listeners, thank you for joining another episode of Amplify Democracy. Follow the podcast and stay tuned as we continue exploring the ways creativity shape our civic lives. I am Cleopatra Charles. Until next time, keep creating, keep questioning, and keep imagining new possibilities of freedom.